This is Jebel Ali village. It's a community of around 300 homes which opened in 1977 and was built originally in the middle of the desert, around 30 kilometres from any other built-up area. It became a thriving community of expats, but 5 years ago the village was closed down. For many of those living there it was a great shame, not least because of the significant impact the village had on Dubai itself. Now, from pretty much anywhere in Jebel Ali village, you can see Jebel Ali itself, which is that fairly unassuming looking hill behind me. But it plays a fairly crucial role in the economic history of Dubai, because in the 1970s, the then ruler, Sheikh Rashid, stood on top of that hill and announced that there was going to be a port built here that would put Dubai on the maritime map of the world. And it really set the economic transformation of the emirate in train. Jebel Ali village was built to house the workers who built the port. For several years, what was left deteriorated. In the end, though, redevelopment plans were shelved, and the village is now reopening following extensive refurbishment. And those who lived in it really treated the rented homes as their own. Many upgraded them to the tune of thousands of dollars out of their own pockets. But the rent was very cheap and will now be around 3 times what the last tenants paid.
So this bathroom here is extended by a previous resident.
So what was behind the decision to reopen Jebel Ali village?
I think it was just purely the crisis. If the crisis didn't happen, the Nakheel management and board would have not changed. So I think things would have went in that direction. To me, I think it was a good thing for Jebel Ali village, because you will never find a property like this. I mean, it is most of the input that we get back from the clients, from the residents. This is home. It feels homey. It's not a high-rise.
Well, one of the hazards used to be camels coming in from the camel encampment over there. And
Linda was almost the last holdout when residents were evicted. She says it was a sad day when she finally left.
it was starting to look unloved and unwanted. There were elements of vandalism quite early on. Some contractors were given the job of removing good trees in order to get them up to various parks around, so that had meant bulldozing walls and bulldozing into gardens. So it was starting to look, by August 2008, it was looking quite sorry for itself generally. I stayed more or less until the very end, and by then there were just a scattering of families around. So it was very, very sad. Hi, I'm Linda Pearson. I used to live here.
Whilst Linda says she probably won't return to Jebel Ali village, many of the properties are being snapped up by former tenants, such as Amanda and Gary, who are looking around what will be their new home. In fact, the same one that Amanda lived in many years before. Whilst they reminisce about the old times, it's a reminder of how different things are today.
It was a hardship posting. There was no fresh milk. There was weevils and everything.
I mean, Dubai has changed. People come here because they hear about it. When we came here, no one had ever heard about it.
Didn't know where it was.
And I remember, quite often going back to the UK, having to explain to people where I lived, that, I didn't live in a tent in the middle of the desert. It hasn't changed, really, has it? It's still the same. What has changed is that view. Isn't that amazing?
And from being a tiny outpost 30 kilometres from any other civilization, that space has now entirely filled in. And the views from the side of Jebel Ali, a small hill with a lot of history, a testament to just how much Dubai has developed in the last couple of decades.